Look where we are. Megan and I are lucky enough to be in Hawaii right now. It's amazing. It's been a pretty good trip so far. We've island hopped from Hawaii to Maui, done snorkeling, hiking, had some amazing dinners. It's been an incredible trip. But today we're fishing. I couldn't be more excited. I've never fished in Hawaii or the Pacific Ocean at all for that matter. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm sure there's going to be a learning curve, but I'm excited, so let's get after it. I'm not really sure what the best bait is. I think it's going to be octopus, but I got to snorkel out and see if I can find one. In the meantime, I got some shrimp. Shrimp seems to work everywhere, so throw out some shrimp and see if we can get some big fish. Got some turtles swimming out right in front of me. That's pretty cool. It's probably gonna be hard to see this morning, but I got a big reef straight in front of me. And I'm sure there's gonna be like a lot of cool aquarium style fish in that reef, and a big sand flat right to the left. And that's kind of where the bigger predatory fish, in my experience, everywhere else in the world, kind of roam, on the edges of the reef in the sand. So I got this one pretty far out there, just in that sand, hoping to get a little bit of anything, I don't know, but a bonefish would be pretty cool. I'm gonna rig up a different style rig right now and kind of get that one in the reef. All right, so here's a secondary rig that I'm using to kind of get closer in the reef. I got 50-pound mono, just because that reef is very sharp. And I just tied it to a dropper loop, open that up and have a single dropper line to some shrimp, down to a nice little bank sinker. Basically just a modified pompano or high-low rig, just with one dropper. I don't want that second one flailing around because there's plenty of snags out there. And I'm trying not to lose as much tackle as possible. So. Whoa!
If you've ever used a GoPro around the saltwater, or I guess water in general, then you know that sometimes files just go corrupt. That's exactly what happened here with the other camera. But first fish of the day is this beautiful goatfish. It's called a goatfish because it has two different barbels on the tip of its chin there, kind of like a catfish. But super cool. I was excited to catch this guy to start the day.
I don't have a ton of tackle in this bag, so I'm having to get a little bit resourceful. I've taken this spoon, taken the hook off, and tied some lighter line, probably 4 foot, to a little fly. And what I'm going to do is cast this spoon to cast so far, so easily, and then pop this little tiny fly behind it, and maybe they just will be more likely to eat something small like this. I don't know. Being resourceful with what I got. Goatfish. I do have some snorkelers coming through here right now, so I just reeled in that long one, and I'm going to cast a little bit shorter in the reef here, and wait for them to move. But pretty cool stuff. Alright, we're going to be moving spots here. And rock rambling in flip-flops is not my favorite thing in the world. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Nothing like it. Lots of reef right here. I just moved down the coast a little bit on this little rocky cliff face here. Still trying to fish the same reef, just the other side of it, I suppose. Bunch of scuba divers came and set up right on top of where I was casting, so it's a good sign that I was on some fish, but I don't want to catch a person, so I had to move. Something different, something small. New species though. It's kind of like some sort of grouper. Sharp little teeth, cool little spots. I like it. Get a still shot. All right, just tied on a fresh hook because the tip that got bent over on the rocks. I hope they're not all those little guys. I hope we can get something a little bigger. Oh no! That fish has my hook in its mouth, and that was a better one. Gonna need to tie a bigger shock leader. It's able to just reach me up so fast. All right, we're learning. We're learning. Well, the one cool thing about fishing Hawaii is you really get to practice tying your knots. So you break off a lot. You got to retie a lot. But just beefed up the tackle, got a little bit heavier line, so hopefully I don't break off on that reef. I hate leaving fish with hooks in their mouth and tackle, but just gonna go heavier. The fish do not seem to be line shy, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna go back to that spoon with the fly on the end. Just tired of re-rigging them so many times, so let's see if this can't do something different. Nice. Oh, cool. That's a new one. A new species. On the fly. Looks like another kind of goatfish. I know there's more than one kind, but this guy's purple with an orange on him. Let me try and actually tilt the camera here. Get a better sunny shot. That could be better, right? Yeah. Another little goatfish. Orange spot on the tail. There's a whole bunch of these coming in. This is cool. That guy ate the little pink fly that I took off my pompano jig. Awesome. Go throw this guy back. Here we go. I see them. Got them all fired up. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I've never caught one of these ever. This is what's known as a trumpet fish or a pipe fish. So long and skinny, but such a cool pattern on them. Unbelievably awesome. Look at how, like, and hold him gently, how long his snout is, but his mouth only opens at the very tip. It's not like a barracuda or anything like that. It's so much different. Wow. Not very big, but that's a really cool one. That is so cool. All right, I think these guys are pretty fragile, so we're gonna get him back quick. Look at that tail. Ah, so cool. All right, my little trumpety friend. Oh, he zipped right off. Cool. Don't get me wrong, I love catching fish however I can, and the shrimp caught a lot of cool species, but catching it on something that you just jerry-rigged yourself from parts you had in your tackle box is pretty cool. It's pretty fun. That guy zipped right off. Oh. Flies are the way to go, it sounds like. I just want something bigger, you know, I want something to pull drag off. I'm gonna make my way back out there and do it again. All right. We kind of got to go whip the shiny metal part fast through it. That gets everybody excited. And then that fly at the back side of it is just an easy snack. It just kind of floats there. Plus, I think it's the right size for a lot of the bait around. It matches pretty well. I'm wondering if I'm not using too big of things. Try working it a little deeper and let it float it. Where are the little trevallies? No way! That's my guy right there. He just hooked up. I missed him. That's a bigger one. We're gonna go down there and grab him. Shoot. Hello, my little trumpet fish. There he is. Oh, how sick is this? Boop, boop, boop. Careful, man, careful. So cool. Look at that little mouth. All right, we'll get you back. 2 trumpets, though? Look at how cool that tail is. Trumpet fish. Here she goes. All right. Might be onto something here. Those little guys are slimy. Gotta wipe the slime off my hands. Let's try getting out on this side again, the deeper side. Woohoo! Another little goatfish. That's a pretty one. Let's see if we can see that right. How pretty is that? Cool. On the little fly again. Look at those little things. Not by the hair of your chinny chin chin. Oh, sweet, a big turtle right here too. Not gonna cast at the turtle, but sometimes you got bigger predatory fish that follow turtles. So I'm gonna cast behind the turtle. Maybe there's a cobia or something. It's wishful thinking, but I've seen it happen. This spot was a ton of fun, and I'll probably definitely come back here later in the week. But it looks like the scuba divers got out of the spot that I originally wanted to fish this morning. So I'm gonna head back there and fish on the beach. These wet rocks getting kind of scary. That one might not work. I think I might have got on the rock there. We'll see. Fish on! Feels good.
You know, I was so excited to see this fish come up out of the waves because I recognized it. Hawaii's got a lot of different fish species, and many of them I don't know the names of, but I knew this one. This is actually Hawaii's state fish. It's a species of reef triggerfish, and it has a name that's a mile long. It's a humu humu nuku nuku apua'a, or something along those lines. You gotta excuse my Hawaiian. But it's got a beautiful paint job, and it's got a name that's super fun to say. This guy fought surprisingly hard, all things considered. And I was thrilled to get my hands on this guy.
That was so awesome. Been joking around that I wanted to catch that fish just because the name is so ridiculous. But that was a pretty fish, and he fought actually pretty hard. I think he was down in the reef and I had to pull him out. But let's see if we can't get more of those. I don't have a ton of lead weights, so I'm actually gonna go swim in there and get that back. I'm gonna put the camera on my head so we can see what's down there. Take a chunk of shrimp. Maybe the back half will be better. It's hard for you to see on camera probably, but I see a clear as day white pothole. It's sand surrounded by rock. I have to have a pretty decent cast to get it in there, but because it's surrounded by so much reef and rock, I think there's a lot of fish in there. Usually doesn't take too long before I start feeling taps. Big fish on!
And just like that, we're pulling another humu humu up out of the waves. This guy's actually a different species of humu. He's what's known as the Picasso. He's got a slightly different paint job than that first one, and I think he's even more beautiful than the one that we just got. He is a triggerfish, though, so you definitely don't want to get bit by them. Got some really sharp teeth. These teeth actually look like little human chompers. But regardless, I think this fish is so gorgeous, and I feel so lucky to be able to catch it. You know, everywhere else that we've seen this fish on the island has been in multi-million-dollar aquariums. And the fact that I was able to catch it on a rod and reel and hold it in my hands and show it off to the camera is a pretty nice treat. I definitely don't take that for granted. Want to get this guy back safely and see what else we can get from the waves.
Being a land-based angler, I'm used to having a lot of obstacles when you're fishing. Usually it's the form of boats or birds. This is one of the few spots where I have scuba divers and snorkelers to worry about. So in an effort to not catch a human, I keep pulling my lines out, but more and more keep showing up. So it's getting a little frustrating, but I think that's just part of fishing in Hawaii. You just gotta be patient and probably wait for a lower light period.
Well, this is a perfect example of if you can't beat them, join them. Meg and I decided to throw our snorkel stuff on and hop in the water, see what all the fuss is about. Why are all these swimmers coming to swim right where I'm casting my lines? But you know, it made a lot of sense. We were by a lot of life. There's some pretty cool stuff to be seen under the water there. One of the first things I'm doing, though, is looking for some of the rigs that I had snapped off. I found quite a few of them. I hate leaving that stuff in the water. I don't want any kind of living creature to get tangled up in that, and honestly, those leads are expensive and hard to come by on the island, so I don't want to leave them in there, and if I'm able to get them back, I want them back. So I was pretty thrilled to be getting a lot of that stuff out of the water. But as we're swimming around, we're seeing a lot of life, and it's giving me new ideas for what I need to be doing to try and catch some of these different species. We're seeing cool stuff. Eels, turtles, sharks, octopuses, and I want to catch some more of those. After recovering a majority of my rigs, I decided to go back to the shore and grab a spool of line with a hook on it and a pocket full of shrimp. I wanted to see if I couldn't hand line some of these cool species I'm seeing, or at least bring them closer to the camera. And it didn't take too long before we were actually hooked up with some pretty cool reef fish.
All right, we're back out here. I don't even think we filmed an outro on that last little clip because, as you can see, the storms came very quickly. We're gonna get all the camera gear up and went back to the room, dried off. But we're in fresh, clean clothes with new ambition, coming out to catch some more fish. Let's get after it. One thing that was a benefit earlier is when it was sunny, clean, you can see where the reef is and where the open holes are. Now that it's overcast and the water's all dark, it's very difficult. I'm hoping that I'm not going to get instantly snagged. There we go. That feels like a trevally. That feels good. A lot of different names for this fish. I know it as a bluefin trevally, but I think the local name is like a papio or papio. Something with a P. I'll put it on the screen. Pretty cool though. I want a bigger one of these. That'd be like my #1 fish to catch out of here. Let him go. Cut off again. Having a re-rig. I have a lot of respect for anyone that fishes Hawaii or anywhere off the rocks for that matter. You lose a lot of tackle. The ground's sharp, and then when you finally do get that big bite, it runs you into the rock too, and if you don't stop in time, you lose that too. So it's definitely one of the more frustrating places I've ever tried to fish. But there's like right on the horizon almost. It's like the promise of a giant. So you keep rigging up and keep trying, I guess. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Got Lego knees.
Well, that's going to be a wrap for day 1 fishing the shores of Hawaii. We caught some pretty cool fish. Nothing too big yet, but some really cool fish nonetheless. I really appreciate you guys watching. And if you guys like the video, please like the video. And hope to see you guys next time when we're back on the water catching more fish. Until then.